Good afternoon, welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. There's absolutely bugger all to watch and very little to do on a given day, so I thought, well, I'll play a bit more Noita and chat over the top of it. For all of you who want something to watch and listen to, which is non-committal, you don't have to pay me, you don't have to subscribe or like or kiss my backside in any way at all. And I will not be talking about the war. Sorry, Israelis and Gazans, I'm not interested, not today. And let's be honest, it's not like there isn't a million people already spending their entire life regurgitating pieces of Twitter news about that. So I shall not be joining them, and I shall be doing this instead. I mean, what is there to say? David Cameron! Do you remember how much he was fucking hated? I do. I remember David Cameron is the original gammon. He's like the first person the left hated enough to rename him after a food product. Gammon. I mean, you could see back then, they wanted to call him something else, clearly. But they weren't allowed to. They were already terrified of the woke mob. So rather than calling him, I don't know, a fuckwit, an apolitical twat, or whatever it was they wanted to call him, the best they could come out with was, he's a red-faced gammon. Which obviously isn't, it's not really all that insulting, is it? Nevertheless, it means pig. Pig means tyrant or fascist. You know, communism. It's from the Cold War days. That's what you would call someone. Pig! You pig! And it meant you are a feral, disgusting creature who needs to be destroyed. I mean, so it's quite strong rhetoric, even for a complete political psycho. But nonetheless, gammon, that's the best they could do. It's the same today. You can't call a spade because the National Rifle Association for Spades will get upset with you and cancel you, and all the advertisers will shit their little pants, and the world will stop turning until said thing is unsaid. And you just know, because this happens every single year. This is all to facilitate the election. They're trying to bend your knee over to them. They want you to vote a certain way. They can't outright tell you, because you just say no straight away. They can't infer with emotive politics, because half the words they want to use are illegal. They mark you out as a bad person if you have said these words. No, so what they do is they just do the kind of cowardly rat pressuring you from all angles with a mask covering their face type thing. That's what we do in this country. This is peacetime politics in Britain now. You shit all over everyone until they are so disgusted/despairing that they just go, oh fuck it, I'll just vote for whoever, you know, and they just tick whatever they're told to tick just to get a couple of minutes of peace and quiet. Entered Holy Mountain. There should be a teleport thing here instead of just nothing. Have I broken the game already? Anyway, who cares? Back on topic. What's the point in a democracy when you have to vote who you're told to vote for? What's the point in a vote if you're voting for who you're told to vote for? In fact, what's the point in a vote if the only options you're given are bad, and even then you have to vote for this one, and you're evil and bad if you don't? Surely a democracy was like cricket. You shake hands afterwards, you play it in the spirit of the game. Otherwise, what's the point? You might as well just admit that you are in invisible chains, and those chains are, you do this, you say this, you vote for this. You have no say, you do exactly what you are told. I mean, that is what communism is. It's the mob rule, the government's mob tells you, right, this is what you're going to vote for next week. And if you don't, you'll get a black bag over your head, and we will beat you up, and then you'll have another chance to vote. And then, if you're brave and stupid, and you still don't vote correctly, then the black bag reappears, and you disappear, and nobody will hear from you again. And then that gives the message to other people. You know who to vote for, guys. It's communism. So that's what we've got to look forward to here. Suella Braverman found out today. You don't toe the party line, you are out. Although she's definitely not the first, and she will not be the last. You have to keep up the pressure. When you're a communist, it's not a thing that people will naturally gravitate to. It's not something which democratic types will ever voluntarily do, you know. They won't agree with it. You have to twist their arm behind their back, and you have to put a blade to their throat, and you have to threaten to kill their family and take their money away and shit all over their patio. You know, you have to do everything you can to deter courage. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And it is doing a terrific job, isn't it? I mean, when was the last time you saw anyone courageous in the government? Instead of these, like, sly-faced weasels. Everyone in the government is like Penfold. Now, do you remember Penfold? I think it was Inspector Gadget or, Inspector Gadget. Penfold was like the little mousy accountant dude. That is Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak is Penfold. And he is the model citizen for a government employee. So they all have to resemble Penfold. And that's what we've got. So we've got a gutless, voiceless, electorateless, voteless government who are just doing what they're told. But they can't even tell us who is paying them, because they know we will revolt. And I think that is actually the plan. This is all electioneering, because we've got elections coming up soon, both in the States and here. And they know people vote more readily when they're angry. But they also know people vote in error. You know, they make more mistakes when they're angry, when they're feeling exposed. So, yeah, I think that's what's happening here. Suella Braverman, you are out. And everyone's supposed to go, rah, grab your pitchfork, and flood into the streets and show their dissatisfaction. And then be called far right and promptly ruined in the relationships and the respect stakes from people that they know and love and their family. It's pretty much what's going to happen to me for making all these videos about anti-woke. Trying to get a bit of decency and democracy back in this country. But I mean, they know as well as I do. I am not a political person, usually. I don't care. I literally don't care about politics. As long as it's okay, I don't care, usually. But what I do care about is being made to live in a miserable, unsuccessful country. Because I work really hard, and I'm sure you all totally relate to this. We all work extremely hard. And we put up with a lot. And the reason we do that is because we want our country to be a joyful place, a happy place to live, and we want our lives within that country to be successful. So that's why we don't like communism. Communism is the opposite of that, or woke, whatever you want to call it. The end result of that is a depression. You have no money. And then the government has no money because you have no money, and they have to start penny pinching. So you let me know if any of this is sounding familiar to you. Have you noticed any penny pinching from the government in this country? Well, of course you have. And they try and cover it up by giving you a cold weather payment. It's like, well, we'll take £1,000 off you, and then we'll give you back £300 in cash. And you're supposed to go, oh, the government is so generous. Oh, they're great, aren't they? But are they really, though? Are they? In bygone days, that actually would have been considered a bribe. If you just throw someone cash under the table, or even over the table, if you don't even have to hide it and you're just paying people in the run-up to the election, that's a bribe. What sort of people need to bribe you to be your leader? Communists. Like I said, nobody will voluntarily choose that apart from children whose parents have brainwashed them to think that that's better than what we've got. But you still require a revolution. Actually, think about that. Revolution. Engines revolve, you know. They go round and round and round and round the same every time. And each revolution is the same until the wheels come off. Is it really what we need? Do we really need to be revolving around the same crappy ideas again and again? Like, I'm all for change, you know. If there's something bad, it should be changed. But I don't think that a knee-jerk extreme reaction, revolution for the sake of revolution, is necessarily going to solve anything at all, really. I mean, let's look at the countries in the world that have had revolutions. Oh yeah, that's right, they're all doing really poorly. They're all below us in every single metric that you could possibly imagine. So it didn't go very well for them. I don't know why people think it would be any different here for us. If we had a revolution, it'd be a false dawn, wouldn't it? It'd be murder and crime in the streets, and it would be a terrible economic recession, another one, while we recovered from that. And in the end, there would be no change. The only change would be the people, the names would change. The actions would stay the same. That, ladies, gents and Pikachus, is why we need to get democracy back. Democracy was the only thing holding that back from us. The only thing stood between us and a depressing, devolved economic slum for a country was democracy. And that's why we have to use it or we're going to lose it. We have to make sure our democratic values are retained. But I mean, don't look at me for how that's going to happen. I don't bloody know. What am I, a genius? No, I'm just a guy. I'm just a dude. I have very good eyes. I can observe things happening and I can make predictions on the logical outcomes. You know, I can recognise patterns. That's what I do. But I can't predict the future. I can't tell you what to do. Only that you need to do something. You know, I bet that's what all this far-right nonsense is about. Anyone who steps out of line or dares to go against the government narrative is going to be painted out as a far-right thug. And that's why, because if you're a far-right thug, nobody should listen to you. That's exactly why they want to paint us all out as far-right thugs. Because everyone knows a far-right thug is like a knuckle-dragging, bat-wielding psycho that hasn't got a brain. So if they make you that, then nobody is going to listen to you. And nobody cares that you're not being listened to. They marginalise you by saying that. It's almost like they're creating a minority which it's completely legal and fine to attack and to discard and to ignore. It's not very diverse, is it? Really? It's like the opposite of diversity. It's like, we'll make you the ultimate minority of one, and then we'll just completely make everything you say irrelevant, unless you agree with us, and then you'll be part of the majority again. It's communism. That's exactly what communism is. Mob rule. And that's what we've currently got here at the moment. It fucking sucks. So I hope that you've all been saving up, because your money's going to be worth less in future, so you'll need more of it. And also, you will need to be buying things more frequently, because crime's going to go up, thefts are going to go up. I've already felt the fucking long arm of that. Living next door to a little rat face over there is constantly stealing off me. But I think it's just going to be endemic. You know, the police don't do anything. They're too afraid, and they haven't got the numbers. They are quote-unquote busy. That's what they told me. They're busy. They haven't got enough time to go and solve crimes, have they? You know, who has time for crimes when they're a police officer? But the thing not to do is go vigilante. Don't go mental. That's exactly what you're going to feel like doing. It's like with me. Every time I get attacked and the police do nothing, it makes me think, well, I'll fucking do something. Do you think I'm powerless? No, I'm not powerless. I can do that. I can go and attack people. I can steal things. I can retaliate. Kind for kind, an eye for an eye. Why the hell would I want to do that? That's not my politics. That's their politics. They are trying to force us all into. They're trying to shoehorn us into. And it just isn't going to work. Like I say, it's because it's miserable. Everyone hates it. Everybody hates it. And we quite enjoyed what we had in the 2000s, in the 90s. Freedom. Freedom to speak and to act and to live your life. When you think about it, right, it's so weird. People in war-torn countries, in their head, they dream about a free, democratic country, which is safe and prosperous and joyful. That's what we used to have here. So they dream about what we are throwing away. And we are slowly building ourselves into the corner they absolutely hate being in and are trying to get out of by killing each other. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that a thing? Mad. I honestly don't know what they're playing at getting David Cameron. Rishi Sunak and David Cameron, now there is a pair of idiots. Really. How have these two even got careers in politics at all? They do not have a stitch of decency between them. Absolutely no morals, or they've just got nothing to them. They're just yes men. It's like you could have employed a couple of student accountants from Farnborough and you would have had the same result. But it's not democracy. Neither one of those guys have got votes. A democracy means we voted these guys in. But we didn't. We did not vote for those guys. The people who were voted for were kicked out. And then we had another election, and it was a hung parliament, and that's how Rishi got it. So it's not democracy. And I really think people need to remember that. Democracy, the last time we had a democracy, everybody was fucking really pleased with it. Everyone was really prosperous. We didn't have any wars in the streets. We didn't have any huge crime rate. In fact, the biggest problem we had was people moaning that the police were being a bit too heavy-handed. Really? Can you imagine that now? Like, I wish our police were heavy-handed now, because crime is one of the biggest problems that we've got. It's exploded. Crime has exploded in this country. I'd almost go as far as saying crime is the main way of earning money in this country now, sadly. So people like me and you who don't commit crimes, we're not even in the top 10. There's no chance. So I think the conclusion is we all need to have a little breather. Coming up to Christmas now, so I think this year's a write-off. There's nothing we can do. But in the new year, somebody smarter than me is going to have to collect us all up, form a new political party, and take back control of Westminster and the government. And when that happens, joy and prosperity and success will return almost overnight. So I'm really hoping that's what we see. But that's the end of this video, so I hope you enjoyed that and you thought about all I've said, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.